Hello again, is another review here with the Saramonic SR-VMR1 plug-on recorder. This one here does not have the wireless function, and this is one of the things that I like about this unit, because you can just plug in, record, and forget about any problems with interference or any audio dropouts and everything, like I was describing with the previous review of the Saramonic UW Mic 9. It's a great unit, but it has a few flaws. This thing here, I have nothing but good things to say about it. I was extremely impressed with the unit when I bought it. And I saw a couple YouTube videos. The person was using a dynamic microphone, but I could already tell that when I use condenser microphones, this unit is going to perform beautifully. Now, here's the thing that I like the most about this unit. Before anything else, what made me buy this unit, I mean, after I received it and I tested, the preamps on this thing for $125 is extremely quiet. I use the Tascam. This is what you're hearing right now. The Tascam DR100 Mark III. I just bought this unit. Love it. This unit costs 4 times the price, about 400 some US dollars. And the preamplifiers, this is what's the best selling thing of this unit, because the preamplifiers are super quiet. Noise floor is like almost non-existent. And the same exact thing, using the same microphone that I experienced with this unit over here, that the preamplifiers are very quiet. So if you want to use dynamic microphones, go ahead. Noise floor is very low, but you still hear a little bit of it, because dynamic microphones, the advantage to use a dynamic microphone is when you record very loud audio sources, such as the drum set right here. If you put a condenser microphone, the same way you can damage your ear, the microphone doesn't like extremely loud sources, because condenser microphones, the advantage to it is a very high sensitivity microphone, so it doesn't require you to do a lot of gain on your recorder, right? That's another thing that contributes for a low noise floor. So with a dynamic microphone, they are not as sensitive as a condenser microphone, so you might want to crank up the gain a little bit, but you're going to have a little bit of noise floor. So today I'm going to also have a bonus review. I'm reviewing 2 products, the Saramonic SR-VMR1 and the Samson CO2, because this is the perfect package for you to get together, to buy at the same time, especially if you're on a budget, because this costs about 125 US on Amazon, right? And this microphone, I actually just ordered a second box of it. Let me show you what it is. Look at this beautiful thing. It comes with a case, and I'm talking about here $75 US for this set of microphones at the time of this video on B&H. I'm also going to provide the link on the description. You're talking about $30-some for each microphone. There's a microphone like the one that I have on the drum set here, the Audio Technica, I forgot the model. That microphone is $1,200. This one here is not really far away from that as far as audio quality goes, because it is a condenser microphone. If you hook it up to a quality preamps like a Mackie mixer, which I have, a Tascam DR100 Mark III, a sound device is even better. So the microphone, if it makes noise, little, is because of your preamplifiers are not good enough. Like the Zoom are notorious for having noisy preamplifiers. They're good on battery life, but the Tascam, I consider this a budget thing. $400 is not comparing to $100, but this is still a budget recorder, because sound devices cost about $3,000 to $8,000. You should check out the Samson CO2. It's very easy to search. Go to B&H and search for Samson CO2. This comes with the windscreen foam, the case, and the microphones. This has a little bit of a shock mount. It's not the most perfect thing in the world, but you know, it's it's very much made of rubber, and you can actually place on a full microphone stand, or that comes with a 3/8 thing here, so you can easily put this on any light stand or anything like this, right? So yeah, you cannot go wrong with that, man. So when you buy this, make sure you get this too, because they're so cheap. You can actually buy several, because I have two of them. I was trying to look at the Saramonic website or even eBay case for this. This one here, the reason why I bought this unit, this version, this is not a transmitter. It has a record button here, so the advantage to that is that you can press record as long as you measure your recording levels, right? You do your sound test, you set it and forget it, right? Now the Saramonic, the plug-on transmitter, I heard that maybe you can have some audio dropouts occasionally, so this is what sold me. There's no wireless to worry about here, okay? So and Saramonic loves mimicking the Sony. I love it. You know, it's the same thing but like outside. Is it a Sony? You know, so there's no case for this. I wish there was. Saramonic made a case like this, right? So you can actually protect your unit. I don't want anybody to bump on my stuff and scratch my unit. That will piss me off. So this case probably cost about $35–40, which is ridiculous. You know, this is Sony, but Saramonic, I wish they actually include. This is a beautiful package. Another thing that I want to mention: everything that you know is made in China comes with a crappy box and poor English manual. Not this brand, not this one. So you open the box, and comes with a manual in perfect English. Look at this. But doesn't come with the case, you know. So why not? Charges another $20, but include the damn case. So anyway, this is what I did. Where's my thing? I actually I have a little leftover of some leatherette material that I bought at Walmart to protect my Castle the Crane gear. So, and then I mean, not bad. Look at this. Check it out. It's almost you know, good enough, so it doesn't get scratched, my stuff, and from protection, even little rain or whatever, you know. So there you go. You can actually make your own, and let's hope or wait, Saramonic will actually make a case. I will definitely buy this. I also bought a second Saramonic SR-VMR1 that's coming in 2 days here, because I'm gonna buy a bunch of these things, because at this price, $125 plus $38 a microphone, buy at least two, you know. This comes with the two. So this is what I'm gonna use right now. I have 4 of these microphones, right? They come 2 on each case. I can use 2 of these microphones hooked up on a Tascam, and then another microphone for every Saramonic on this model here. Now, another amazing thing about this unit, it has 48-volt phantom power. Try to find this on a Tascam. It doesn't have phantom power. It's made of plastic. This is made of metal. I like the fact that the screen is blue. Not so crazy about the orange screen on the Saramonic UW Mic 9. I think the 10 version also has this blue screen, because I'm used to the Sony has blue screen. So the orange kind of drives me a little crazy. But 48 volts on the unit, this price, I mean, this Tascam here costs over $400, like almost technically 4 times the price of this thing. And this has phantom power. I mean, that's crazy. And the biggest thing that I discovered when I ordered this unit and I tested on my timeline, right, is the preamplifiers are super quiet. The noise is almost non-existent. I have to crank up the volume. I was trying to hear the at least not with condenser microphones. Again, the sensitivity of condenser microphones is very high. But the selling point of this unit is how quiet the amplifiers are. And this unit here blew me out of the water, because when I heard the audio from on the headphone, it gets a little, you know, but on the actual timeline on the computer and the final product, nothing. And one thing that you don't want to do in audio is post-production. So I like to record right, just like photography. I understand you can use Photoshop and Lightroom, but shoot right. The right color temperature, the right exposure. I don't shoot JPEG, I shoot RAW, but still, shoot correct, and also do your audio correct, because getting rid of problems with audio like hissing or background noise, or it will deteriorate the quality of the sound. So I was very pleased to hear the quality that's coming out of this recorder here, because the preamp that they put in here is excellent. I don't know what they did here to charge for this price, because it's actually the same quality as my Tascam DR100 Mark III, $400 US versus $125, maybe $100 in some other sites. So there you go. One thing I don't like about the this unit here is because the headphone jack is inside this thing here. I bite my nails, so to me it's impossible to take this out, so I have to use something to help me to kind of open this flapper up. So I hate that, but at least it protects everything. The SD card goes right here. I have right now a Sony Class 10 8 gigabytes. I should have bought a 4, because even though it's not a 32 gigabyte card, 8 gigabytes is plenty of storage to record hours and hours and hours. Even at by the way, this recorder records at 24-bit 48 kilohertz sampling rate. I wish it was at least 96, but can't complain. It's $100 some, right? Unit is made of metal, and compared to the some zooms and Tascams on this price range, they're made of plastic. There's a Tascam that just came out a couple months ago, I think. This made of plastic, doesn't have 48-volt phantom power. It records on the dual recording thing, which this does. But it would be nice if Saramonic actually added this feature here, but I doubt it, because I heard that they don't like to update software. I don't see any USB on any of these units. I don't know how you're gonna update the software unless you ship it to Saramonic. But they were telling me there's as I was mentioning on my previous review already on my channel. You can check that out, so you'll see what I'm talking about. So I don't think they're planning to update any software. But overall, I am extremely pleased with this unit. And as a matter of fact, as I mentioned before, I just ordered another one, and I plan to buy as many as 10 of these. So now I'm gonna be turning the camera around and show you guys right here on the display and how to operate this unit. Alright, so the moment you've been waiting for, you're listening to the very Saramonic SR-VMR1. So I'm speaking to it about 2.5–3 inches away from it. The recording level is at 50. It goes to a maximum at 60. I would not recommend recording any higher than 50. This is a condenser microphone that I'm using, which has phantom power 48 volt, which will also help to minimize noise, because condenser microphones, they are very sensitive. So you don't need to gain a lot of, to do a lot of gain. So if you put a dynamic microphone here, you're gonna have a little bit of hissing. But with this unit, still the preamplifiers on this thing is super quiet for the price, but you're gonna have to speak a lot louder than usual. So I would recommend a condenser microphone only, especially at this price. Buy a B&H. This thing only costs like $75 for 2 of them. That's ridiculous. So it's a perfect kit for you. So this is the recording level. Press long, right? Plus and minus. So right now I'm talking to the same 2-inch distance from the microphone, which should sound beautiful. As you can see, this is the recording level. So that's why I have this cable here, otherwise I can't see. So when you're interviewing somebody, yeah, it's fine. But if you're recording yourself and look at the display, you need to have this cable like this. So I'm turning down the volume. Now I'm gonna be speaking about 1 inch from the microphone, 2 inches actually. Let me make a little change here. So okay, so now I'm speaking about 1 inch from the microphone, and I have a pop-up filter in front of me. But just so you guys can see, I can hear the quality of this recorder, especially when you have like a source, an audio source that's close enough to it and is loud enough, like this, close proximity. It sounds like this. Let me increase the volume. So in post, when you see this going to about 1/3 of the meter, right? It will not distort, and the graphics on the timeline is not gonna be hot at all. It's gonna be perfect. It's the way it should look like. It's like, here's the wave size on the timeline, right? You're not gonna have those waves spiking like super hot unless you go really high. And at volume 60, I have to back up because my voice is gonna be too loud. But listen to the noise floor is like pretty noticeable. So I would not recommend anything higher than 50 to any recorder, not even this one. 2 feet away from the microphone, and at volume 50, which is about 70% of what this unit can do, and it sounds pretty good. So if you want to interview somebody on the street, you're probably going to be about, I don't know, 8 inches from his mouth. So it's going to sound like this, and the close proximity is going to sound like that. As you can see, it has a lot of bass. To correct the problem, you long press this button here, the minus. Now watch this. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So with this Saramonic and this particular microphone, at least the Samson CO2 on most condenser microphones, you definitely want to have this turned off, especially for outdoors, to avoid the wind noise being introduced to it. But even if you are in the studio, so it will sound more natural like this. With a dynamic microphone, definitely have the microphone work in the full spectrum of the frequency. So to make a test here, anything that's gonna be about 1/3 of the meter here, it's not very efficient, but you can actually see what's going on. It's gonna sound a little low, and the way I'm speaking right now on the microphone, the floor noise is gonna be almost non-present. Okay, when you gain it up a little bit, you're gonna see the audio like increasing about half of the meter. See, hello, 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 hello. That should be perfect, which I checked on my timeline. Is absolutely perfect. Anything higher than this, like this, that still doesn't distort the sound. Okay, let me lower the volume here because my headphone is like really high. Okay. So at this distance here, so it's almost about to clip. As far as I checked before, you still don't distort your audio with this unit, unless you're talking about this. That I can hear is distorting. Okay. Now, to be safe, even here, like about 80% of the meter, you will not distort the audio. So again, the safest way to record this, keep your volume your gain as low as possible. Get the microphone close to the source. For any professional knows this, any sound engineer knows that. So keep your recording level lower and get the source close to the mic. So again, if you are reading about 50% here, the spikes on the waveform is going to be perfect. It's not going to be touching the edges of the thing, because when it does that, that's when distortion occurs, because scientifically speaking, you are actually chopping off the top and the bottom of the wave. That's why distortion happens. Okay, attaching the unit, you just gotta match the plug, right? You firmly press it in, but still, take it easy. When you hear click, this is not going anywhere. Okay, it's not going absolutely anywhere. This is locked right here. To release, hold the microphone because it's gonna fly out a little bit. This is a very secure connection, as good as my Sony. You can also plug in an XLR cable, as long as this cable has this little opening over here. Otherwise, it will not lock it in. Okay, so pay attention to this. This is an audio cable, Audio Technica cable. I don't know the model, but if you search on B&H in the picture, you will see. It's only like $9 for a 25-foot cable, which is another great deal. I like this cable. The cable is very soft. It's very easy to recoil to put it away, right? Properly coil the cable. So here's the thing: match the plugs, right? With the thing, it's gonna also do this. Same thing. It's not going anywhere. See, this is why you need that hole right there. The XLR cables that do not have this, it's not gonna lock in. To release, that's it. I have to plug in the XLR like this instead of plugging in a microphone like that, because I need to see for the demonstration of this video or my recording levels here, because when you have the microphone this way, so far away from the display, I cannot see unless I put a mirror here. So alright, so the first thing that you see when you turn on the unit is this display over here. So the first thing that you see here highlighted in bold there is the mic gain. The second one, you actually long press to select and short press to select every single page on this menu, okay? This is the headphone volume, and finally, long press. This is the low cut. For this particular microphone here, I found out that when you use the wind cut, the low cut, the voice is more natural. You can also do this. It's like the regular whatever the microphone records. So if it is too bassy, you just short press, and there you go. For this microphone, I recommend you doing this. Let me get out of this thing here. So this button selects. This button here goes one step back, and let me see. Okay, then you want to go. This goes up and down, right? And select your folder 1, and these are the files that you can see here. Okay. So if you press long enough the plus sign, you can actually erase that particular file. Yes or no. Then hit, this is the set button, okay? It's confusing, but you get used to it. Delete. Then to go back to the previous page, hit this button here again. Input, select. Low cut off, low cut on. Go back. As I showed you before, if you long press this and long press again, there's your shortcut right there, on or off. Okay, so let me go back there. Input. See, I messed up again. See that? There you go. All right. Next one. Record setting. File limit. You can have from 30 minutes all the way to 120 minutes. I select 120 minutes because I don't like the files I don't want a lot of files, which doesn't make any sense to me, because if it is a 5-minute increment, yeah, it would help for the audio drift, but 30 minutes it still drifts like crazy, so you might as well keep it like this, okay? Sample rate, that's a good one. Of course, I set the recorder to 48 kilohertz, 24-bit. Why would you do anything lower than this? 8 gigabytes records like a zillion hours of audio. So go back to that. Now the number 4 is the SD card. This is the information, what you recorded, and the total capacity of the card. And then finally the format SD card. So you're gonna press here. Sorry, I told you this thing is confusing. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so there, then boom. Then the play mode. Single play means when you play the file, it's gonna stop and that's it. Single cycle, it's a repeat. It's a weird way to what they're saying here, but single cycle means it's gonna repeat, okay, the same thing. Order play is gonna play every single file you have on this recorder, and content cycle is in the folder. So when you file number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 100. By the way, this holds up to 200 files per folder, nothing more, which is a lot. So the content cycle, it's gonna cycle the whole thing. If your card is full, it's gonna play the whole damn thing and then repeat back to the file number 1. System settings. You have the date and time. Apparently, you only have to set this once, because I removed the battery for, as long as 3 days, and it still remains correct, the date here, so, which is cool. And the LCD backlight, I love the Saramonic people that they put this thing always on, because sometimes when I am in a dark place, I don't want the light to go off. So I don't care how much battery this thing drains, so you can actually turn it off later when you're done calibrating your unit on a set. So, but I like it always on. And you also have always off, and here there, and that's pretty much it. LCD contrast. I said I usually go to number 3 as default. It comes also number 3, so set that. So that's it for this version and factory reset. Okay, so I'll go back, and then finally the 48 volt. Every time you power the unit on or every time you turn it off, it's gonna switch to off. I'm gonna show you this right now. So as you can see, it boots pretty quickly. So what I do here is I go here and hit the plus, so it goes straight to the lowest menu, and then click on. Okay. So when you power it off, it's gonna, the phantom power, it's not gonna be on. You gotta go there again and do it again. Okay. So one thing I don't like about this thing is because I don't like the headphone being protected. I wish this thing was outside the same way the battery magazine is. I bite my nail, so I have to use this thing here to eject, to help me to eject this thing over here. Now, before you see anybody on some review complaining again, this thing is made of plastic, so is the Sony. It's made of plastic as well. So the reason why it's made of plastic, because how would you expect the battery polarity? You know, how would you expect the negative and positive to be metal with metal and metal and metal? You know, that's, you know, plastic is the best because it's flexible. You can eject the battery easier. It doesn't scratch. If this was metal, it would scratch the shit out of your batteries. So it is plastic, and I don't want this ever to be made of metal. Doesn't matter what kind of modifications that they do here. So, yeah. So plastic is nice for this. So there's a reason why this is made of plastic. Here they actually include volume separate from the gain of the microphone, you know. So your headphone goes here, and this is the gain on the microphone. So on this Saramonic UW Mic 9, I don't know why Saramonic had the idea of including the output to the camera and the headphone volume as the same thing. So when you go to the menu here, all you see is one control for everything. So if you're recording, I would suggest you to go no higher than volume 26 or 25. But when you want to monitor something, you gotta go all the way to the volume 30, you know, which is the maximum. But when you're recording, you gotta remind yourself to go back to the, you know. So I don't understand why they would do something here which matches any other unit that I have, the Sony, the Sennheisers, right? So, but they didn't include this thing here, and they told me there's no software update, and actually there's no USB anywhere here, so you would have to ship it to Saramonic if you want to update the software of this thing, which Saramonic told me that they will not do that. So it is what it is. So that's why I didn't buy the second unit for this. I only have one transmitter and that's it, even though this unit can hold 2 transmitters. So I'm not gonna buy the that one, and this is why again I bought the plug-on unit from Saramonic, the one that records, the one that doesn't do wireless, because I don't want to deal with this the way they built this unit here. This one I love, this one I like too, but it has a lot of things that I don't understand why they made this way. But it's a good unit too. So, and another thing that I was mentioning before, I don't like the fact that they don't provide a case for it. They have a nice box right here. It's a nice box. Why not include a little case? Charges another 20 bucks, but you know. So I made my own case here. I got this at Walmart store, it's the leather department there. So you know, it's not bad. It fits nicely. So there you go. So it doesn't scratch my stuff. So that should conclude the review, a thorough review of this unit. The other people, they don't show as much detail as I show on the review. And again, I want to really appreciate you guys subscribing to my channel, because I try to provide the best review that I can. You know, thank you very much for your support on this channel. Thanks. Bye-bye.